Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Nintendo president admits game development now taking longer as hardware advances. So Nintendo put out some information regarding the future of their software lineup and how they're going to handle things, because they were asked about these long gaps in between games and how sometimes we wait 5, 6, maybe even 7 years for some of their bigger hitters. And even Nintendo recognized that this is a thing, and they talked about this and why things are so much longer now, and also explain what their game plan is moving forward. But even though they explained this, a lot of people don't like how they explained it, and a lot of people are not happy with what Nintendo's plans are and how they've been handling the prices of games and the quality of the games that they've been dropping. So let's just dive into it. This article comes from mynintendo.com. It starts off by saying Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa has explained in an investors meeting that games are now taking more time and more resources to develop, and that is impacting development times. However, he says, to remedy this, the Kyoto-based company is continually expanding our development resources and making the necessary investments. Tetsuya Takahashi chimed in and told them that as hardware advances, it is inevitable that software development takes longer and that they aim to continue with a variety of new offerings. Furukawa states, game development today is more prolonged, more complex, and more advanced. That is unavoidable. To deal with this, we are continually expanding our development resources and making the necessary investments. Takahashi states, as hardware advances, it is inevitable that software development takes longer. But I believe we are succeeding in our efforts to shorten development cycles, for example, by steadily improving the development environment following the release of the hardware. Whether titles take a long time or a short time to develop, we want to make games that are fun. It is not as if Super Mario Bros. Wonder was under continuous development for nearly a decade. There was a long gap between the release of the previous title, New Super Mario Bros. U, the current title, because various initiatives and studies were made in the meantime. Going forward, we aim to continue with a variety of new offerings, and we hope you look forward to them now. Takahashi Tezuka, the executive officer, chimes in and says, after we finished Super Mario Bros. Wonder, I was reminded 11 years had gone by since the previous game. However, that does not mean we did nothing during that time. We developed several new Mario games, such as the Super Mario Maker series and the 3D Mario series. To reiterate Nintendo's creative philosophy, first we think about creating entertainment that has never been done before, regardless of whether it is a Mario series game or not. Then we think about how we can make it fun for everyone, so they fall in love with Nintendo. All of our games involving Mario, not just Super Mario Bros. Wonder, are created with the goal of encouraging as many people as possible to play them. As for upcoming new titles, some will take time to develop and others will be made in short periods of time. I hope you look forward to our new offering. So Nintendo is pretty much saying, as we get stronger and better hardware, like the rumors are suggesting, the Switch 2 is going to be a powerhouse for Nintendo. We are going to have longer development times because these games are going to be more and more graphically demanding. Look at how big and crazy Breath of the Wild was. And clearly it's going to take longer and longer for these games to be developed. But Nintendo had claimed that they are working on ways to get around this and to cut these development times down a little bit. But we knew this. This is kind of always the case. We normally always wait around 6-7 years for the next big 3D Mario game. So this is nothing out of the blue, although it is kind of crazy if you think about it. The last brand new original 3D Mario game was Odyssey in 2017, and this October, which is just in a couple of months, we are going to be 7 years since then. So clearly we are extremely due for a new 3D Mario game. Now, what is it that people are mad about? Well, there was another update on this information stating that Nintendo has 2 strategies to shorten game development time since they're aware that making games nowadays take up to 6 to 7 years. Number 1, expanding, hiring more people, and making double A games. And this is something that they alluded to within the article itself. But Shinya Takahashi and Takashi Tezuka are the 2 people responsible for the double A push. Now, in case you're not aware, what are double A games? Well, they're games that are not considered absolute monster powerhouses from Nintendo. These are not your 3D Marios. These are not your big brand new 3D Zelda games. These are relatively smaller games, but still games that are important to Nintendo and to certain fans. For instance, these are probably your Paper Mario games, your Mario and Luigi Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the side Mario spin-off titles. I think it's pretty evident on the Nintendo Switch that there are tons, and I mean tons of double A Mario games. I mean, we have remakes and remasters and ports of old Mario games. We just have little collections like the 3D All-Stars. We have tons of Mario parties and sports. There's Mario everything on Nintendo Switch, but not a lot of AAA games. I mean, seriously, if you break it down, I think a lot of people would only consider Mario Odyssey being the only triple Mario title on the Switch right now. I know personally, I would say you gotta count Mario Wonder, even though it's a 2D Mario game. People would be so upset. People would be saying what they are saying about Microsoft and Sony right now. There's no games. Where are the games? because Nintendo likes to keep their calendar full of little things and a mixture of big things. So I think that's perfectly fine. But it does come down to the price and the quality of the game. When you look at the sports games on Nintendo Switch right now with Mario, they are absolutely bad. They are just not good. Most of these games launch with little to absolutely no content whatsoever. I mean, seriously, we had to wait little years in some of these games to finally get the full roster of characters and like an additional 1 or 2 maps. So yeah, that has to stop. And charging full $60 for these games is kind of absurd. Switch Sports is a prime example of this. I know this game was only like $40, but the fact that we had to wait over 2 years for basketball, which has been proven to be in the files, they even had renders for the character holding the basketball on release, proves that Nintendo is rushing these games. I mean, something that I was hoping for was Golf took almost a year to come out, which is like very basic. And a lot of these games are literally the same exact games for the most part from its predecessor being Wii Sports. The bowling is pretty standard. And coming back, golf works the same way basketball works, ideally the same way. So how do you feel about longer development cycles for certain Nintendo games? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming updates. Until next time, happy gaming!